Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. The meeting will be starting shortly. While we wait, let's learn more about Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast channels 98 and 22. Channel 98 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host
on the agenda. First item of business is the 2022 minutes.
You should introduce us.
Oh, good point. Good point. Do some introductions.
Bill Campbell, I'm a regular member.
Julie Gilman, the select board rep.
Maura Fay, I think I'm technically the treasurer.
John Burkle, vice chair. And I'm Jay Myers, the chair. All right, thank you, Julie, for that suggestion. Looking at our last meeting's minutes, are there any recommendations for changes?
Didn't see any, but also I don't think I was in attendance, so I don't know.
We don't have Pam here today.
Yeah, just in the new business item there, the Shanders is Shander. So Janelle was visiting as a member of the public from Park Street. I have in the last paragraph, which would be page 3, there was a sentence about hung up on parking. I guess it would be the second to last line of that paragraph. They were hung up on the parking. So the addition of the word. It starts the line fact that it was and then as it reads on, but they, I think the verb there would be were hung up on parking. Page 2, sort of working backwards. Where did I see that? Second paragraph from the top, moving down. Bill said we have a quest.
Our guest.
Would that be a
Question.
Oh, a guest.
have a guest?
We have a guest. Yeah, it was Janelle.
Okay, all right, and ask Janelle.
Yeah, I had it.
And then there's the last paragraph. So moving down that page,
On that paragraph where it says next is discussion, is it the certified local government grant? So it should include local.
Thank you.
there was, I wasn't working off I was just taking notes when I was reading it electronically, and now I've lost my place. There's a third to last paragraph.
There's a
1, 2, 3.
little word in the very last, or the next to last paragraph in the last line, but told the member.
That's the one. Thanks, Bill.
It's just a
Yep, that was the one.
typo.
Yeah, I just might suggest a line between paragraphs. It seems it would read. It seems like there's some paragraph breaks that could use a line between. Other than that, I'm good. Any other suggestions?
I don't have a suggestion, except for we don't have enough people here that were at that meeting to make a decision on it. I wasn't here.
Oh, that's
He
right.
wasn't here.
What do we need, 4?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we'll postpone it.
Does that
We have to table them.
table it?
Table.
It's already been Is there a certain time frame? It's already been 2 months. Does it just roll into approval if?
I think if we can do this, the short answer is yes, but we do have a couple of changes that we've already put in, so
Does that,
I don't know.
does that trigger the timeline for another? I mean, I thought it was 2 months if we don't make changes.
yeah. Well, does anybody think the changes that we made are consequential? This is the one.
These are
The content of things.
These are cosmetic.
Yeah, okay, then, there they are.
Thanks for recognizing that. I didn't even think about the fact that we don't have enough voting members for the approval. All right. So the second item of business is to tabulate and evaluate the neighborhood heritage area survey. So that letter and notification went out about 3 weeks ago. Voting time frame was about 2 weeks roughly. I think we set the deadline at Monday of this week. And it looks like we have just as a physical count, the opposed, good half-inch worth and a quarter-inch amount for in favor. So we could probably need to, let's get an actual physical number count, I think would be appropriate. Anybody like to
I'm happy to do some counting.
do some counting? I'll just split it that way.
I'm 32.
Pretty good split. I had 30.
There you go.
I had 26.
All right. So the official tally is 62 opposed, 26 in favor.
How many went out?
Good question.
I just was curious. That sounds like a pretty good response.
It does sound like a very good response.
I think we've got,
Let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 10, 1, 2, 3, so 30 per page, 30, 60, 90, 120, 150,
Close to 200.
180, let's see, 180 minus, well, I'll get the minus, there was 2 crossed off there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15, so 195. So roughly 195 went out.
That is a good return.
Yeah, with 4 returned to us as return to sender due to address factors. So that's 60, so 88. That's roughly about 40%.
Yeah.
Just ballparking it.
Yeah.
40% return rate. So what's our plan moving forward? Should we accept the vote as tabulated? Do we need to make a motion on that just to make it official? Motion
Yeah,
to,
I think that makes sense.
To verify it, to verify that we counted them and this is they.
I think so, yeah.
Let's see. That's probably the right word to use. Yes, I move to document the return postcards of the survey and the ones that were undeliverable as 26 in support, 62 opposed, and 4 returned out of 195 sent back.
The 26 return is about 30% of the return.
The 4 returned. 4 were returned.
No, I meant of the 88 that we got cards, the 26 is about 30%. I guess since we see the end of a project we've been working on for quite a while, I guess.
So is there a second to that motion? Do we need to?
Oh, yeah, I'll second it.
Any further discussion?
Do we want to open it up? Well, actually, a motion's been made.
This
That's
is just,
Yeah, we're supposed to accept it.
Just sort of
So-
validate, verify that. So all those in favor of accepting the count as part of the proposal?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? 0. All right. Thank you. So what next?
I think we should hear from the public, and then then I think we should make our decision whether or not we're going to go forward.
Folks want to share your thoughts on the vote that you witnessed?
I think the numbers speak for me. I think that's okay. But the only thing I would ask is, I know there was an informal survey done about a year ago, and they were tallied by street. I know street was asked, and I don't think you need to do it here, but I assume some people may want to look at the cards at some point too. There may be some areas that are much more or less in favor than others.
Well, they are public records, so we can ask the building department to store them for a period of time, I don't know, 90 days or something. Because I don't think they have an actual deadline, a record.
Right.
There are records retention laws, and I don't know where those fall, so there will be a period of time, but I'll say at least 90 days.
Yeah, I appreciate hearing that about street. And if I recall, our conversations from the past was that we wanted to consider the entire area as surveyed and not try to modify it or change it related to earlier survey results. This one was going to help us sort of get a consensus of whether this was worth moving forward to the planning board level. So is that still our, is that still where we're at? Am I remembering correctly?
Yeah, I think that's where we had left it, was that, we would tabulate this and sort of see if it made sense, if there was a general consensus to move forward or to not. We did talk originally about maybe shrinking the boundaries to see if there was sort of an area that folks had said maybe more so that they would want it than not, but I'm just not sure if it's worth the effort to go ahead with a smaller area, only given that, we would be asking people to commit to being part of an advisory board, and if it's a much smaller area, that's just a much smaller pool to draw from in order to run an advisory board, and I just don't know if there's the people interested to do it.
I think it will die in the planning board.
Yeah.
So, you want a motion?
I would make a motion that we accept the results of this and do the count. We're not going to push it forward to the planning board.
Second. Either one.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Thanks, Julie. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you all. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming. Thank you. Good. I can always have people. All right, shall we move on to,
Just say, well, one question still comes to mind. I mean,
Oh.
we do have our proposal as a public, on the public forum. I mean, it's on our webpage. There's no reason to take it off there, is there? Or do we, I mean, we did a survey, there's good information for the public to view based on their property history, and
I think,
I don't think there's anything, I don't know if there's anything that needs to be done with that, or do we leave it?
I think we should leave it for a while, just because if people look at the page, they can see what work we've been doing, and there's no harm in it. Because we made this decision, maybe that ought to be posted on, with the link or something,
yeah,
or at the end of the...
and if somebody new comes in and reads it, if somebody moves into the area and says, oh, this sounds interesting, they can just ask, what happened to it? Where is it?
Yeah.
And I think it's good to leave it there.
I wonder if it would be worthwhile to just type up a quick summary of, the fact that we did the survey, received survey results, and made a decision based on that, and sort of add that to it as a
Yeah.
wrap-up. Because I know that one of the reasons we wanted to do the survey was so we would have some documentation as to why we made the decision we did.
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's the right way to do it.
So an action item here is to draft a summary of the, say that again.
I know he said it.
Yeah, sorry, should I make this an official motion while I'm trying to remember what I said?
Did you make a motion to post it?
No, I don't think so. I think it just went on the web. Yeah.
I don't think you need a paragraph.
Okay.
Laura.
So my proposal was that we create a summary of the survey process that we went through, the fact that we received, X number of survey results out of 195, and due to the response we received, we decided as a commission not to continue with the project. Just as a way to
Wrap it up.
wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it.
Okay. I can take a stab at that draft and
Okay.
share it.
Thank you.
And for purposes of editing and contribution, we can talk about it next time.
Sounds good.
Sure.
All right. Next item of business was a demo review committee visited 50 Linden Street, so wanted to provide an update of that visit. John and I were at the site along with John Gruder. Pam was there eventually, but we didn't get to meet with her. Somehow we missed her. But as the committee, we decided that the structure, which was an attached barn, was really in a compromised state. It had a lot of additions to it, a lot of editing done to it. It was not a safe structure.
No foundation.
No foundation. So we didn't oppose any further. It didn't feel the need to hold up the process any further. So wanted to let you all know about that. One thing I found interesting was there was a support beam that was 3 8-foot 4x4s stacked on top of it. So
Were they connected to each other in any
they were
way, or
kind
just
of
sort
nailed
of?
together but stacked on. So it was
It's a little terrifying.
Unique,
very unique. Yeah, yeah.
yet terrifying.
Sounds like some of the studs in my house that we've uncovered in the walls, it's 6 feet of this piece and 4 feet of that piece, and they're just kind of
Exactly.
smashed together.
Exactly. All right. So on the agenda, there's space and time to hear from those who are representing other committees and boards. Is there anything, Julie, from the select board that the HC should be aware of?
Well, only if you want to go into the history of the Parks and Recreation Department and what they do. I think keep in your mind ideas for the current property on Court Street. We will be asked for some input, I'm sure. We have no plans or ideas yet of how we want to use that building or if we even want to keep it, and the senior center too. So you may be asked to have some input on whatever decision might go forward. We have a couple of ideas coming from people, but nothing, we haven't had a formal discussion yet. And I can speak for the HDC. The Baptist Church project is going to proceed. They got their ZBA adjustment for parking. So.
Have they gone to the planning board, have they got permission there?
I don't know that they had to.
I thought they had already gone through the planning board commission, at least based on the minutes I saw in March.
Well, yeah, they were hung up on the parking issue.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
we understood.
But the ZBA gave them the relief. So 26 cars parked around there somewhere.
I think that's going to create huge problems, but we'll see.
No, that will be something that the select board will have to take care of or handle in some fashion.
They've already given away the parking for Ioka.
Yep. Well, that whole side of the river side of
At
the,
least the Ioka, you walk across to where you can find some parking.
and the other thing was the certified local government grant.
Oh, yeah.
Dave and I tried to, we let it go. The deadline was Friday. And they've changed the requirements in their handbook, and because we haven't done a grant in a few years, we hadn't noticed some of the changes in the book, and one of them requires you to get 2 quotes from consultants for whatever project you want to do. And we didn't have time to get 2 quotes back because both of us had left it too late. So we decided, and what we had decided to do was, it would help both the HDC and the Heritage Commission, was a form that Dave had worked out in Somersworth. Dave Sharples, the town planner. When you take a section of a historic district and just document it all, photograph as much as you can, but really just concentrate on the character defining features, what makes it this style, what makes it, this piece of history is important, or something along those lines, working with the Historical Society a lot on it. And he had done that before, and they chose a number of buildings, and the consultant that they had did a price per building. So with the grant, say they asked for $25,000, then the consultant would do as many houses as fit in there. So it might into that number. So it might be more than they had suggested, or it might be less. So I thought that would be a good place to start, rather than what I had been talking about before, which is really making a what style is it kind of manual for everybody. Because that's really, it's a teaching tool that I think would be good for all of us. And a recruitment tool, because people are scared of what they don't know, so they don't volunteer. And speaking of that, the 3 architects on the HDC all retired or moved out of town. So the HDC is relying on those of us who don't have a lot of building knowledge. So if you know of anyone, please have them submit a volunteer.
I know an architect across the street from me.
Oh. Yes.
Is this sort of like what you did, you and others, when we did the historic district, there is a file of every home.
Yes, but we didn't look at them as like the ranch, what makes a ranch as opposed to a cottage, and a 1830s building as opposed to a 1950 building or a 1650 building. So that's what this would do. Is, like, federal style houses have this kind of entrance and these proportions and then double chimneys or something like that. So this form that would fill it, that the consultant would fill out, would put those kind of things on it, plus some of the history of ownership, which is also good to know. Make Pam happy. So we're going to try that next year. Hopefully we'll be a little better organized about it. Dave's very busy, so he was kind of relieved not to work on the application. And it was, my house schedule was pretty busy too. So unless we, between now and next March, I think is when they ask for letters of intent. If we have any other ideas, we can discuss whether we want to trade off or I've already got it on my calendar.
So if I'm understanding this, Dave is saying that we should map out some areas and get some proposals already in place so that when it comes time to do the grant, we don't have to scramble for 2 or 3 bids.
Right, well, we have the copies of the documents that they used very successfully in Sonesford. So we have those as an example. And then we can use those and not rush consultants to give me a price for, what you might do here. And the next cycle starts in March, I believe, so.
Is that something that, we should do? We should start sooner rather than later, or you?
Well, I think we have the materials now between Dave and I.
Okay.
The consultant that he used, who did a very good job, has retired, so, and that was somebody from Newburyport or somebody close by, but not from New Hampshire. And we have our favorite Lynn Monroe to get a quote from. She'd be happy to do that.
Okay. I just didn't know if the Heritage Commission needed to do anything to help in that process, but it sounds like.
Well, sign off on it.
Oh, yeah.
It would be nice to have more than just me, my name on the thing. I'd like to be able to say the Heritage Commission is fully in favor of this. Give them a copy of the notes, the minutes that say it.
I guess just more of the legwork, if there was any legwork, manpower or person power.
Well, part of these kind of grants, and this being, there's 3 different levels, and this being what's called a survey, like we did for Park Street, is free to the community, but we ask for them to grant the money to pay our consultant to do the work. And within that is whatever price we put on the request is we can do in-kind services. And that does everything from paying for the meeting space that we're using, paying for your time to go to the Historical Society if you wanted to help out that way. But typically we've done very little ourselves except for, getting the documents together and have occasional talk about it at the Heritage Commission meeting. That's volunteer time. And just so you know that the rate for volunteering is the federal minimum wage.
Okay.
And the Historic District has weighed in on things too. So there are ways to capture some of that cost, but try to give as much as possible to the consultant. It's a way to count towards the grant, but not, but be advantageous to the. So if they need a lot of copying done, then we would do that. If they need, some kind of support, we would do that.
All right.
And then, let's see. Grant from HEC. I think that's it. There's nothing at the State House for us except for very sorry bill allowing or preventing towns from prohibiting the use of firearms on public property. Now, that doesn't really affect us, except for if we want to do something on public property. It's kind of a long story, but I don't think it's going to pass, so I'm pretty confident after watching this morning's meeting. But that's it for me.
Fair enough. Thank you, Julie. John isn't here for Planning Commission. We've got the Historic District covered. Is there any other?
Oh, I know what I wanted to say about the grant. I had recommended to Dave that we start on High Street because that hasn't had the survey that the other areas of town have had. And those are the buildings that we see the most at the Historic District.
Start down by the bridge.
Yeah, some of that's already been done, so we can go beyond. I think we start at Portsmouth Ave and go up.
Kind of going back to that, you said that we need some architects to get involved. Do we have, do we know of any local architects to call on?
John,
John, do you know any local architects?
No, there's a law, you can't go on a same board.
the same land use board.
Well, yeah, not that you probably need any more to do. I
The
mean,
planning board and zoning board we can, but not any other one.
is there any-
No, I know of one woman I'm gonna ask. And two others, one is working out of town, so, and he's just not interested.
yeah.
And the other one is from the academy, and he's already on one of our committees, and I'm not gonna ask him to do it. He's got a load of work already.
How do architects hang out a shingle? I mean, how does that work?
No, we can look at, Google, we call it Google at my house, but we can Google search and,
Google search of architects.
Probably a New Hampshire chapter of like the AIA or something.
yeah.
Some of the firms have got multiple architects working with them that you wouldn't be aware of unless you knew the firm.
Yeah.
And I don't know who we have in town anymore.
We don't have any, I know one, Chris Conquest, who came before the HDC for a project that he's doing, but he's also on our facilities committee. So I can ask him, I don't know, I don't think the facilities committee was very long.
Public Works doesn't have a connection to
That's a good question.
it. Should it be as somebody who lives in town?
Has to be, yeah.
Has to be.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking of the Academy woman, Heather.
I asked her.
I don't know if she lives in town.
I think she does,
Yeah, she does. I asked her, but she had some other stuff going on with the AIA. And so she wanted to wait till that calmed down, so it might be a couple of years before we see her. So,
All right.
Any other business?
Well, what about 8 Gilman?
Well, yeah, I was gonna bring that up if
Yeah.
somebody else had anything to say. So, yeah, I shared an email.
Yeah.
but they were scheduling that for Monday of this week, wasn't it?
For Monday coming up.
Oh,
So, I mean,
He said he'd postpone it a day or two. But
yeah, if we wanted to see it on a Monday or a Tuesday of next week. Does anybody want to see it tomorrow or Friday?
It's interesting, they have partitioned out, or they've given out some of the, I don't know if they've given it, but they've sold to some of the property.
and some of
I don't know whether, I don't know if there's much left in it that we would be interested in.
Well, what the letter said was that they had started taking off the drywall or plaster, what it was,
Yeah.
started to look at that, so, it might be something that we're interested in, just taking a look at. for
Yeah,
future.
it sounds like they have salvage interest for the fireplace,
Right, there's
marble fireplace,
Mantle.
frame, mantle,
Ground.
some of the granite associated in stone in the
Everybody wants
foundation.
that. Wasn't there an
Never
oven downstairs that was pretty old too?
The what?
No, it wasn't actually.
No?
No, they thought
It's-
the
it's-
masons that we found thought both thought that it was a more modern addition that would, replicate some historical value, but they didn't think it was even ever used.
And floor planking. And there was some boards, floorboarding that was going to be
Yeah.
salvaged.
Right. Which is all good, I guess.
Yeah. But, I mean, structurally, it sounds like it's down to the bare bones and
No,
studs.
the comment that I had made at the site meeting was that if some of the interior was exposed, that hadn't been before, would there be any interest in starting to see what was there earlier?
Yeah.
And apparently Pam would be I would have thought would have been the one to jump on that, but she doesn't seem to want anything to do with it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, his letter didn't really say that they had found anything, but I might like to go through, I don't know. If no one else is, then I won't bother, but.
I can't do it tomorrow. When were you planning on doing it?
No, I can't do it tomorrow either. I think Friday is open. I was just looking for my phone to check my calendar, but can't find it.
He did say that it was supposed to start on Monday, but he wouldn't mind pushing it off a day or two.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know what, I mean, I'm very curious about old buildings, but
Not to hold it.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I mean, I can't make a Monday or Tuesday next week, so it's not, Friday morning I have commitment with dentist appointment, so.
Tied up tomorrow.
Yeah, let it go. I mean, I've been in there 3 times, so, but not since they started taking stuff out. And it doesn't sound like from his letter that what they were going to donate has actually been taken out yet. Maybe the flooring, but
Yeah.
the marble's still there.
Yeah.
I guess I
Where are
passed.
you at with it, John?
I don't need to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was nice of them to ask them.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Thank you very much.
That does remind me, did I send on to you the letter from the Division of Historical Resources?
I don't think so.
Okay,
What would
yeah.
have been the subject?
8 Gilman.
Oh.
And I don't know why, but they were asked to do a survey of the property. And so they were looking for, maybe it's because they're close to the river, and there's a,
Well, isn't a piece of that going to be, isn't there going to be a lot line adjustment there? Would you need a survey? That,
no, not physical survey.
oh,
They wanted to see if there had been any Native American history or.
Oh, great.
It must be the setback from the river that triggered it. So they did, and they did not find anything of value. They thought the lot had been disturbed so much that anything of value was either gone or destroyed. So, and I only got involved because the person at the Division of Historical Resources knows me and just wanted to know what's up with this property, why are we looking at it? So she sent me back their thing. So I'll distribute that to everyone for the record.
didn't, in the very beginning, wasn't there some talk of doing a kind of plaque or monument or some notation that that building had been there? Or
Yes.
the history of it? I don't know if that goes in the new building or it goes out on a little marker type of things.
We hadn't committed them, we didn't get them to commit to a particular thing. I know they're going to reuse some of the materials and they're going to express that somehow on the property that, these like these paving stones are from the original building or something like that. So we still have an opportunity, I think, to discuss it, but we better do it sooner rather than later.
I wonder if we should ask that they do some sort of plaque on the building itself. That,
I think at one point I recommended they look at the sign by the Great Bridge to, as something.
Okay, something like that?
Yeah, not a big, historical picture thing like they did for the cage.
Oh, that wouldn't be bad, or even a plaque on the, as you enter the building, a plaque to the side that says, this was, like they got one down for Enoch Poor downtown on one of the buildings there, and things like that. I think would be good to at least acknowledge that maybe there's been a building there. But I think Mark would be...
Volunteer Bill to follow up on this?
That's a good suggestion.
Yeah, but I don't know what should go on it, but
I would, your idea is the physical aspect and then the wording of what's on there maybe from the Historical Society. So that's what we did with the Great Bridge.
Yeah, I think, I do remember us talking about that, and something just that captured the heritage of that space, like imagery or by word. But yeah, some sort of to identify that.
maybe Pam would help.
Yeah.
I don't know, we might have to get Barbara to do it instead.
But yeah, so I'll respond to the email to say that we talked about in the meeting, which I told him we were meeting tonight. To let him know if there was any interest toward the building, and I'll introduce that there was some discussion, and Bill, that you might or you would be reaching out to him to kind of.
Actually, I think it was Heather, their architect, had written up a whole history of that building, which I don't think we get the whole history on the side of the building.
No.
But we might get, something from that.
Yeah.
You want me to follow up?
If you don't mind.
Sure, no, I know Mark pretty well. I think that would be something anyway.
Okay. All right, I'm going to forward that to you now while we're all here.
What's that, the history?
Yeah, from the Division of Historical.
You have it right there?
Yeah.
Well, no, that's
I must have
that's
it, but...
the remnants of the native populations, right? That's what you're sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's different building.
Just you should have it.
If you could forward that, that'd be good.
Should I forward it to Ben? John. I also have another thing that I'm not sure if you are interested in posting on our website, but I was researching windows because I'm considering having my windows in my house refurbished. And so I was looking at who did it. I actually already got a quote from the window woman who's down in Newburyport.
Yeah, I've seen her van in town.
And then I found, while I was looking, I have like 5 different, list of 5 different consultants for that kind of work that the HDC has, because we're often asked, I want to replace my windows. But this article, a fellow had bought a 100-year-old house and was going to replace his windows, and he decided to do a study on his return on investment for the energy savings. and they had a buddy that does this kind of data research, and they looked at everything, the glass value, the R value of 100-year-old glass with a storm window versus they were looking at vinyl because the other products hadn't really come out. It's a 10-year-old study. But the idea is still there, and what came out at the end was that it's better to just re-putty your old windows and put some storm windows on than it is to replace them with the new ones, because you're going to pay, but a 20-year warranty, you might be out of the house by then and still not have paid for the cost, which is 3 times as much as I got quoted for, I think.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. Any other items of business? One thing that we, because we didn't meet last month, I believe that was in a time for election of officers. I had forgotten about it in the agenda here. We don't have Pam or John here as voting members, so I'm wondering if that's something we move forward with today, or
I would wait till we have the
Table.
full scope, because John may change to somebody else from the planning board. I don't know if they should have done that already.
yeah.
Plus, I'll give you an example. The HDC hasn't met in 2 months, so, and then people left, so we haven't elected new officers yet either.
Okay.
So it's,
Good deal to have Pam here.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks for remembering that.
Table for next time. Yeah. It's the last bit remembrance. All right, if there are no other items of business, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I didn't know whether...
Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast channels 98 and 22. Channel 98 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 13, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.
Exeter.